Hello, everyone. Okay, stablecoins might not be the most interesting topic, definitely because you cannot make too much money from investing in them because they don't go up in value. Actually, sometimes they go down when the stablecoins are not designed the way they were supposed to, as we saw. It's already 2 years ago with Luna and their stablecoin. But today I want to talk with you about the evolution of stablecoins and start, way before actually Bitcoin and blockchain appeared, because the idea of stablecoin is old at least few decades. Basically, with the rise of the internet. Okay. This is just briefly the agenda. With the rise of the internet, the need appeared for money to move as quickly as the information. Some might say, okay, but we already had credit cards and payments were basically instant. Yes, they were, but with several very important limitations. First of them would be the fact that they were not available for anyone to use, because there were parts of the world which were unbanked. Some of them still are, and also if you want to send money from person to person, not B2C, then credit cards are really not an option. And also, although the payments are they appear to be instantaneous, it actually takes a lot of time for settlement to happen. So the merchant sometimes has to wait for days or even for weeks to get their money to their bank account. So it wasn't as convenient as it was supposed to be. So people were searching for the way to move money quickly around the internet without needing to necessarily rely on the existing financial infrastructure. And there were some ideas that were not that successful in the early days. I think it started already in 1980s, and there were some experiments. I think the first important one was DigiCash, but it didn't find a way to get to enough customers and to get some traction. Basically, the first one that I forgot to mention that stablecoins have risen from an idea to somewhere around $250 million in market cap. Most of that market cap is Tether, but it's not the only important player in the field. And you can see here that most of the rise has actually happened in the last 4 years, although Tether itself exists since 2014. But before we talk more about Tether, I just want to go to give you some historical perspective on the first relatively successful experiments regarding stablecoins. And I will start with eGold for two reasons. One is subjective and one is objective. The subjective reason is that it was the first internet money that I was using. And the objective reason is that it was really the first one that was relatively successful. At some point early in this century, it had over 5 million users, which was quite impressive back then, because you have to have in mind that most of the people were still not using internet at all. So it's not like having 5 million customers now. Having 5 million customers 20 years ago was way more impressive than having it now. So it was basically like a centralized cryptocurrency. That's how we can understand it in today's world. It was founded in 1996, and it was, as I said, the first internet money that I used myself. Why did I have to use it? Well, because when I started using internet, it was like 98, 99. Serbia was still under sanctions, and it was difficult to pay anything from Serbia using card payments. Even if you had a card, most of the websites didn't accept card payments from Serbia, so we need to search for an alternative. And the alternative that I found was eGold. Obviously, it was not nearly as widely adopted among merchants as credit cards were. So there were very few things that you could pay directly with eGold. But when there is a need, there is always a way. There were a lot of services that actually offered you to pay anything you wanted with eGold. How it worked, basically you just send them eGold and they pay on your behalf, whether with the credit card or with PayPal or something else. And another interesting thing about eGold is that it was, let's say, the first digital gold. Bitcoin is mentioned today a lot as digital gold, but eGold was actually pegged to gold. So when you transfer some funds to your eGold account, those funds get converted in gold, and then your balance would change as the price of gold would change. They were claiming that they had all the funds fully backed by physical gold. It turned out not to be the truth, but that's what you often get with centralized services, which are not on blockchain, so you don't have that kind of transparency. And the convenient thing about them is that you were able to open an eGold account from anywhere in the world. So they resemble the crypto in that way. The only thing you would need is email address. They were not asking you for your name or anything. You just open an account with email address and you have your eGold account. You have your eGold account and you can move the funds any way you want. There were also a lot of exchanges where you could buy or sell eGold for real money. There were also other services which I was mostly using back then, like you were able to buy peer-to-peer using maybe Western Union or bank payments or MoneyGram, and there were a lot of people actually from countries with a lot of unbanked population. So one of my favorite trading partners from back then were from Ivory Coast, which was very interesting. And at some point in 2007, I decided to open eGold exchange here in Serbia, and basically it has been my mission since then to make money available for everyone. eGold experiment didn't end well. It ended in 2009 with founder being arrested for illegal money transmitting or whatever the charges were. There were some other services like Liberty Reserve, which I also mentioned here, but after eGold collapsed, none of them really managed to get to that number of customers because people generally lost belief in that kind of concept. So they thought, okay, it's just a matter of time before that other one collapses too, which happened several years after that. So fast forward a few years, and we have in 2009 obviously the launch of Bitcoin, and then the other cryptocurrencies that followed, the first big exchanges, and those exchanges were basically the next step, a kind of in evolution of stablecoins, because in those exchanges you were able to transfer your USD balances to other customers. So you deposit some money to Mt. Gox, which you all probably heard of, and then you can create a USD code and send that code to a friend, and the friend can redeem the code, and basically you transfer USD balance from one Mt. Gox account to another. Then the other exchanges also followed up on the same idea, like Bitstamp, like BTC, for example. So they basically allowed you to move funds easily within their ecosystem. The problem was that you were not able to move those funds outside of their ecosystem. So there were really big differences sometimes between prices of Bitcoin between exchanges. There were situations where, for example, you would have Bitcoin priced at $1,100 in Bitstamp and $102,000 on Mt. Gox, which is impossible today because the arbitrage is much more efficient. But back then it was very hard to move dollars between exchanges, so there were big differences in prices. Then again, there were some services which enabled you to exchange one USD code for another. So, for example, you swap your Mt. Gox USD code for Bitstamp USD code, but those differences in prices were priced in those swaps. So you were not able to swap them like one for one. It was if the price of Bitcoin on Mt. Gox was 10% higher, then that code would be 10% more expensive when you swapped one code for another. Then finally we get to the real stable coins. The first one of them, and still the biggest one, is Tether. Tether is actually very old. It started in 2014, and the fun fact is that it started on Bitcoin blockchain, which probably explained why it took it so long to become popular, because Bitcoin blockchain, especially back then, wasn't really convenient for building any kind of tokens, stable coins included. They also rebranded themselves. Their old name was Realcoin, and at some point they started using other blockchains. And just to go a few slides back, it was really in late 2017 when that line starts to move from the bottom, and in 2021 the whole stablecoin market exploded. Okay, so the evolution of Tether was followed by many controversies. There were times when people were questioning whether they really have enough money to back up the tokens that they have issued. And the first few times when that question popped up, the peg was lost. So it fell to, let's say, $0.95 or $0.9 per Tether. And with time, people got used to that. So now when someone says, "Okay, Tether is not really fully backed," no one cares anymore. It doesn't lose its peg. There were also talks that, especially in 2017, when we had the huge bull market, that they were manipulating the price of Bitcoin. They were like issuing a lot of Tether, then they would buy Tether, pump the price up, then when the price goes up, they sell it for profits. But I don't know if that is true or not. Anyway, they're still alive, very big, very important, and basically stable coins have changed the cryptocurrency landscape in several ways. The first important change that they made is that they probably killed the opportunity for any other crypto to become widespread payment method, because all the other cryptocurrencies that are not stable coins lack that price stability. And when stable coins appeared, whoever was doing payments in crypto basically moved to stable coins. There were still some people using other cryptocurrencies as payment, but it's really not that widespread. And I don't see in a foreseeable future that trend changing. The other thing is that they made markets much more efficient, because now it's possible to move dollars or something like dollars very quickly across different exchanges. So any opportunity for arbitrage is used very, very quickly, not like in old days. I mentioned some examples with prices on Mt. Gox and Bitstamp being like very different, 10% difference. There were more extreme examples like when when the popularity of Bitcoin really exploded in late 2013, there were times when Bitcoin would be like 50% more expensive in China than in the rest of the world. So you had Chinese exchanges where Bitcoin was trading for $900, and then on Bitstamp it would trade for $600. But there was no way to move money from one exchange to another and use that opportunity to make easy profits. As I said, besides Tether, there are also some other important stable coins. Maybe the most important one would be USDC and DAI. Unlike Tether, which has, let's say, questionable reserves and has had it for all its history, USDC is definitely fully backed by US dollars, which turn out to be maybe a weakness. A few years ago, when the bank which had their dollars had collapsed, and I think for a few days, USDC lost the peg because there was not clear if customers of that bank would be redeemed or not. But then Federal Reserve stepped in and they said, okay, whoever held funds in that bank, they will get their money back, so don't worry. And the peg was recovered, but just a warning for all of us that if some project, whether it's a stablecoin or something else, is fully backed by money in the bank account, it doesn't mean they're 100% secure. I actually like the idea behind DAI much more. Because they are over-collateralized and they don't depend on any centralized party. I know that DAI is not nearly as popular as USDC and especially Tether, but in terms of of technological evolution, I definitely consider them as a next step after Tether and USDC. So maybe just to summarize a little bit, because Philip has warned me that there are a few minutes left. These are some 4 phases of the evolution of stable coins. So first one were a lot before Bitcoin and blockchain, like the attempts to make global digital money, but those are all centralized companies, and that was their weakness. Then we had stable coins which were connected to exchanges who were issuing them, but you were able to move them only within that exchange. And finally, with Tether, we have a stable coin which can be used anywhere, and then that evolved. Additionally, with the appearance of USDC and especially DAI as, in my opinion, technologically superior product. As I said at the beginning, stablecoins are very important in today's crypto landscape because of the liquidity they provide, because of they made markets much more efficient, and they work much better now. So the prices balance themselves very quickly between exchanges. They're also used for remittances. They're used for payments much more than any other crypto. There are now different paths that different stable coins are taking, and it also depends on the regulatory framework in different countries. As we could see in the recent months, different countries or different regions have taken different paths. For example, European Union is not on a good track regarding stable coins and crypto in general. The requirements they put on stablecoin issuers basically kicked Tether out of European Union, but it seems that it didn't influence USD Tether market cap too much, and that European Union is not a market that is strong enough to have meaningful influence in the crypto market. On the other hand, US is embracing stable coins and everything crypto related, so probably projects will have a heavier presence there and will be moving there if necessary. we will see there are some other spots, other hubs popping around the world. Dubai has been especially interesting in the last couple of years. They're also trying to attract a lot of different projects, and they're succeeding in that. Basically, stablecoins probably have the bright future as long as US dollar remains the dominant currency. We'll see how long will that last, but for now it seems that they are a very important part of the whole ecosystem, and that the today crypto ecosystem would probably not be imaginable without stablecoins.
Let's just wrap up.
Okay, well, that's it. I have one more slide. You said that, and some time for questions.
Perfect. Thank you. So yeah, let's start with the Q&A session. Please raise your hand if you have any, and our yeah. Okay.
Thank you for your presentation. I have a question. Should the stablecoins provide some profits to you for holding them? Because, for example, if you're holding dollars or euros, you can park it overnight, and with tethers, it's much harder to do right now.
Well, I don't think it's harder. I think it's actually easier because there are many ways you can earn yield, or on your stable coins. Many services that offer that option. You can use centralized services for that. You can use platforms like lending platforms like Aave, for example. You can use DeFi Saver if you need additional information about how to use them to earn yield on your stable coins. There's a team, yes. So it's actually very easy to. I would say it's easier to. Maybe it's technologically a bit more complicated, but it's like it takes few minutes to stake or unstake them. Unlike the bank, where you have to deposit the money, then you have to, if you want to have any meaningful yield, then you have to basically lock the funds for a certain period of time. And with stable coins, you just stake them, and there are periods when you can get a really good yield when the market is active. I'm not talking about, for example, Luna and 20% that they were offering, but they're real, so to say, real stable coins, which in period of high network activity can offer up to 10, 15, even higher yield. I mean, it doesn't last for too long. You cannot get the whole year of 15% yield, but there are periods when you can get like 10, 15% for weeks.
Okay. Any more questions? We have a hand there.
How do you see stable coins in maybe not so distant future when dollar loses its primacy? Do you think stable coins for other currencies will just pop up and do what these guys are doing now?
Well, I would agree that stable coins, especially the USD stable coins, superiority is dependent on superiority of US dollar in traditional finance. So if there is a crisis with dollar, which there are some potential signs of it, you can question whether stable coins like Tether or USDC are still as important as they are. But I think the concept is here to stay, because throughout the history we were always trying to peg whatever money we were using to something. Before dollar it was gold, so after dollar there will be something. Maybe it will be Bitcoin, maybe it will be gold again, but in digital form. Maybe it will be some, I don't know, BRICS currency or whatever. But we have the need to have a universal unit of account because the world is connected, and it's much easier when we all use the same unit of account, the same way that we can understand each other by all using English language. Also, although it's not obviously a mother tongue for all of us. So I think we will just move to whatever we consider a new standard for stability, a new global unit of account. Stablecoins will just adapt, and they will be pegged to something else.
Thank you.
Okay. We don't have any more time for new questions. Let's make some time. Okay.
Can I ask? If stablecoins are supposed to be globally available, did it ever have any kind of restrictions at which currencies can be used to buy stablecoins, and if not, why?
Well, not that I know of. I mean, there are countries where it's probably illegal to buy stable coins or any other cryptocurrencies, but it doesn't mean that people don't find a way to buy them. So maybe it's legally impossible, but in practice it's not impossible anywhere.
But I meant, if that currency that someone is trying to use is not really stable at the time, if it is time of crisis or anything, is it possible to use it to buy? And
well, as long as you have someone who will accept it, yes, it's possible, and that volatility is usually priced in. For example, if you would like to buy USDT with dollars, you could probably get an exchange rate which is close to 1. But if you want to buy with some currency which is inflated on daily basis, someone will definitely be willing to sell you, but they will probably charge a very high fee because of the volatility risk. So there's always someone who is willing to sell if the price is appropriate.
thank you.
Okay. Thank you all, and let's give a big applause to Aleksandar.
Thank you.